All right, we just wrapped up week number 7 of the NFL season, and this is one of the most wide open, bizarre years I think we've had in a good minute. But I'm ranking all 32 teams 1 through 32. Let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right on into it with our bottom tier teams 32 through 24. All right, the Jets, the only winless team, and they are still so terrible. I think we've seen the last of Justin Fields. I hope we've seen the last of Justin Fields. He is terrible. Tua in Miami, what's going on? Is that the worst quarterback contract in the NFL? Him and Deshaun Watson, you're paying him to actively lose you games. But hey, maybe he should throw 10 interceptions just to make fun of Mike McDaniel. Tennessee at 30, this team is terrible. Had a good first quarter against New England, but awful team, can't get a fair assessment of Cam Ward. And you know what? Maybe Cam Ward would have been like that 5th or 6th quarterback taken in that 24 draft. Vegas at 29, the worst offensive performance in 25 years, 95 total yards. They ran 30 plays on offense. Hey, but Geno didn't throw a pick, had 67 yards passing. This team is just so banged up. They need to get Brock Bowers back out there, but this is pretty much a dead man walking. Saints at 28, Spencer Rattler was awful, can't play outdoors, but the defense was okay. You got Chris Olave a little bit more involved, still can't run the football whatsoever. Please, for the love of God, get Kamara on a real football team. Arizona at 27, they've lost 5 in a row. Brissett's actually looked good on offense the last 2 weeks, but they can't close out games. They've 5 in a row by like 12, 13 points combined. So just bad coaching, bad finishing by this team. The Giants at 26, one of the worst losses you will ever see. Shutting out the Broncos, give up 33 points in the fourth quarter, missing 2 extra points, and going for 2 that they miss. So they lose by 1. That's 3 points off the board. Devastating defense. Brian Dable's going to get fired probably. They had such good vibes. Cleveland at 25. They beat the shit out of Miami. Good for Cleveland. Their defense is very good. Quinshon Judkins is very good. They got a lot of good rookies. Harold Fannin, Carson Schwarzenegger on defense. They don't have a quarterback, okay? Dylan Gabriel's not that guy. And I don't think Shedeur Sanders is that guy either. So they got to figure out the quarterback spot. And 24, Joe Flacco bringing some life back into this Bengals team. He figured out, hey, just throw it to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Usually just Jamar Chase, and good things are going to happen. Bengals defense has been better the last few weeks. They did get carved up by Rodgers, but they did just enough to win this game. And I think the Bengals are alive here if they can stay afloat until Joe Burrow gets back. Chase Brown got more involved. But let's move on to our middle tier teams 23 through 16. All right, I got the Ravens here at 23. On a bye, we'll see it. This is the all-in game. Lamar's probably going to be playing against Chicago. Must-win game or the season is over. Carolina at 22. Carolina has now won 3 in a row. They're 4-3. Winning record. It's their first road win. They still looked pretty bad. Bryce Young, a lot of question marks. But this running attack and the defense has been a lot better than it was last year. I think this is going to be a feisty team at home and probably pretty bad on the road. Hosting Buffalo off a bye. Let's see is something. Jacksonville at 21. Jags are terrible. They're awful. They shipped them to London. Trevor Lawrence is so bad. They did finally get Travis Hunter a little involved, but they were down 4 touchdowns by the time that got going. Brian Thomas Jr., a huge dud, and the defense really just isn't the same out there. They're getting a little banged up, and they just really weren't good at all. Chicago at 20. They've won 4 in a row. I don't think anybody could have told you they've won 4 in a row unless you're a Bears fan. Not very convincing. This defense leads the league in turnovers. They're winning with turnovers. Caleb's been actually dreadful. He was terrible against the Saints once again. The running game has been a lot better. They spent a lot of money on that offensive line. The quarterback position is really holding this team back, I think, from being a very good football team. Houston at 19. Their defense is an elite defense, Super Bowl championship defense. Their offense makes your eyes bleed. I don't know what it is. They have no identity on offense. They can't really run the ball consistently. They can't throw the ball consistently. The offensive line is terrible. CJ Stroud just runs backwards and throws the ball out of bounds or throws it away. He is clearly regressed out there. Washington 18. This defense also horrendous. Horrible defense. Offense not good. Jaden hasn't looked healthy all season. He's now out. He could be back, hamstring grade. I think they've looked better with Mariota, honestly, with quarterback. He runs a lot more. They can get the running backs involved, but no wide receivers either against Dallas. This is just a very banged up team. Minnesota at 17 threw that game away against the Eagles. 5 field goals inside the 20. Like, horrendous. Get some touchdowns. Carson Wentz is abysmal. They need to get J.J. McCarthy just to see what they got. Defense did get burned a little bit for the first time this season. And Atlanta at 16. We called out the Falcons, though. They can't play outside. They can't play on the road. Like, Michael Penix is kind of like Tua. You know if he's got it or not, and he was dreadful on Sunday night. Their defense has been good. The pass rush is legit. Jeff Ulbricht's done a really good job with this team, but there's way too many weapons on this team to not be consistently good on offense, and they just aren't, and especially outdoors and on the road. But let's move into it. The weirdest top 15 I think we've had in a long time. Let's kick it off out in LA again. Like I said, I'm going to keep the Chargers here at 15. This is just such a weird list. I don't know if there's really any good teams between 15 and like 11. Like, it's just hard to stack these teams up. Chargers are super banged up. And you know what? Honestly, Justin Herbert had a pretty good day against Indy. It was a little slow, but he threw for 400 plus yards, was really good in the second half, tried to claw the team back there. The offensive line is so banged up. The defense could not get a stop. They're also hurt. It's just like this team has lost their edge. They've lost their toughness. Now, turnaround short week against Minnesota could be a get-right spot, especially with the way the Vikings are playing, or it's going to be awful for all of us to watch. I just think the Chargers, they've built up a good bit of, leeway with this. They're not in first place anymore. They're still in that AFC playoff hunt because there's not really a whole lot of good AFC teams. So if the Chargers can get healthy and keep some protection for Herbert, this team will win enough football games, I think, to get into the postseason. But for right now, Chargers here at 15. All right, new addition to the top 15. We got the Cowboys up 9 spots. Screw it. The Cowboys offense is elite. They get CeeDee Lamb back this week. I know they're playing a dreadful defense, but really the weirdest game is going to be that Panthers loss a couple weeks ago because this team is really, really good offensively. You have CeeDee Lamb out there. George Pickens got established. He is trusted as a number one wide receiver. He's playing great. They got the running game going again, and Dak is playing at an MVP level. He is distributing the football all over the field. Jake Ferguson is having a great year as well. This offense is an absolute juggernaut right now. The defense is the big concern. The defense isn't very good. They played better against a bad, banged-up Commanders team, but that's going to ultimately be their downfall. They're going to be in 40-40 shootouts. They're going to be really fun. But if you catch a team with a mediocre defense and a mediocre offense, they will just outscore you. They will win a lot of games. Now, the funniest result of the season will be the Cowboys going 8-1 to truly reach that 500 level for the first time in forever. But I really think this Cowboys offense is great. Defense is horrible. And that's good enough to stick them here at number 14. All right, another new addition here at 13, the New England Patriots. Look, this team is not going to win any beauty contests out there. They play a Mike Vrabel kind of gritty, grindy out football, but their offense has been so much more explosive the last few weeks, thanks in part to the future phenom Drake May. Drake May has been excellent this season. Let's pump the brakes on a Drake May MVP season right now, but he's been awesome. He's going to be an elite quarterback in this league. The running game is still like kind of hit or miss. They're getting Ramondre Stevenson going. I don't know what the hell happened with Travion Henderson. He's like dead. Stephon Diggs, truly a number one wide receiver once again. Kayshon Boutte also getting involved. A couple of touchdowns the last few weeks. It's been really, really pleasant to see get the tight end involved. Now, the defense for New England's been a little it hasn't been up to the standard that we would expect from them. They have had some injuries on that front, but I do think ultimately they will get that thing figured out, and the schedule is so soft. I don't know if the Patriots are going to win this AFC East with Buffalo. I think they do get some things figured out, but the Patriots are 100% a live playoff team in this season. I mean, the schedule is so soft. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from New England. They look like they have another franchise quarterback. Unfortunately, Patriots here at 13. All right, I'm only going to drop the Steelers down 1 spot to 12 because really, everybody else in this league is kind of super average with them. Look, great offensive performance from Pittsburgh. You can't complain about that. They played a terrible defense, but Rodgers has really looked good the last few games. He's starting to feel like, he was washed. He was done in New York. The offense is getting going. They got to get more consistency in the run game with Jalen Warren. He's just better than Kenneth Gainwell. Gainwell was fine filling in. DK and Rodgers have a great matchup. This team needs another wide receiver. They could really use a guy like George Pickens. Crazy how that works. Defense is a concern. They got carved up by Cincinnati. They've had some really hit or miss games on defense this year. If they can get after the quarterback, if they can sack people, they're doing great. Obviously, if they get the turnovers, they're doing great. But without that, there are a lot of holes back there. Teams are slinging the ball all over them. So this is a weird Steelers team. Again, I haven't been very high on them. I wasn't high on them a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not going to be high on them now. I'm not going to be low on them when they lose. This is kind of what I expected from Pittsburgh. The division does get a little bit more interesting now with Cincinnati having a little bit of juice and Baltimore seeing an open window. I still think the Steelers win this division. They're getting good enough quarterback play. They'll beat the bad teams. They're an okay football team. Pittsburgh here at number 12. All right, I got the 49ers here at 11. And look, I'd want to have the 49ers much, much higher, but they are just so damn injured. They've done an incredible job piecing this thing together. Now, they played one of the weakest schedules, if not the weakest schedule in the NFL. Lots of cupcakes out there, but they're winning these games with the injuries, which is huge. Christian McCaffrey back to being an elite level running back. George Kittle comes back in, and we can finally run the football again in San Francisco. McCaffrey looked great, his best rushing game of the season. He's also involved in the passing game. And Mac Jones has done good job filling in for Brock Purdy. We don't know when we're going to get Purdy again. And is there going to be much of a change with a banged up Purdy versus a, kind of banged up Mac Jones? I don't know. I think Kyle Shanahan's just doing an incredible job. The receivers are so banged up. Ultimately, I think the defense is going to be the limiting factor. Robert Saleh is a hell of a defensive coordinator. He's done a great job. They just don't have the talent and pieces anymore. Fred Warner obviously out for the season. Nick Bosa out for the season. This team needs another pass rusher. They could use another linebacker. Tight ends have carved them up the last few weeks. They're overall, though, incredible coaching job in San Francisco. I would love this team to be higher. I just don't think they can actually make a championship run. I think they'll be a pesky team. I do think they can make the playoffs. And if they do get healthier for the postseason, maybe, just maybe with that experience, San Francisco here at 11. All right, Packers staying here at number 10. Again, not very high on this Packers team. Should have lost this game to the Cardinals. Once again, offense is anemic for 2.5, 3 quarters. They turn it on late. There's no consistency out there. They're running the football better, which is nice. You're seeing Josh Jacobs. Man's got a bad calf, and he's got the runs over there, getting into the end zone a couple times. Don't ever tell me Jordan Love's a good quarterback, like elite. Like, people are glazing Jordan Love. He is about as average can get. He is insanely average out there. The wide receivers are just kind of whatever. They have a good mix of a bunch of different guys, but none of them are that elite number one guy that's getting open. Tucker Kraft has been excellent this season. He is a key focal point of this offense. Now, the defense is great. The defense is really good when they can rush the passer. Micah Parsons finally had a reawakening game. 3 sacks on the day for him. He was killing it out there. But their secondary is bad, man. If they're not getting rushed, you can throw the football on this Packers team. So I think everybody was glazing them way too high on them early. Number 10 feels fine. Clearly the second best team in their division. They're lucky to be 4-1-1, but you are what your record is right now. So Packers here at 10 just don't really feel any sort of heat from Green Bay. Okay, Denver down 2 spots here at number 9. Look, I would like to put my arms around and love this Denver team. They have a good record, but they're just a ton of flaws on this team. The offense has been so inconsistent, anemic in some games overall, and they were dreadful for 3 quarters. Now, you give them a lot of credit for the comeback. They did have the help with the interception. They're getting tip balls, getting caught for touchdowns to help things out. So it's just a really, really weird team. And the defense is a major concern, honestly. They got lit up by the Giants in the first 3 quarters. They do a good job in the fourth to break that comeback, but they did give up the go-ahead touchdown out there. You can complain about the pass interference call in front of the end zone, but they gave up 4th and 19, got to the sticks, and they roughed the passer on top of it. Weird game. I'm just concerned how good the Giants offense looked against this Denver defense. Now, like I said, they're worn out, a lot of travel, but they just always feel like they're leaving meat on the bone out there every single week, whether it be the offense, whether it be the defense. There's just so much more. Team is yet to play a complete game on both sides of the ball, and they're saying, well, Peter, if they play both sides of the ball, they're going to be great. Or maybe this team is just not able to do that this year. So Denver here at number 9 for now. Seahawks stay in at number 8 as well. The thing with the Seahawks is, man, They were high flying. It looked like they were going to run away with that game against Houston, but a dreadful Darnold performance. It's not going to look as bad because at no point did it feel like the Seahawks are going to lose that game, but Darnold was awful last night. He was throwing a good ball, but turnovers, weird sacks, sitting in the pocket. You had a Darnold game, but it's really nice when you can win those games when your quarterback looks that bad. Jackson Smith-Njigba is one of the best route runners in the NFL. He gets off the line better than anybody. Teams are going to have to start doubling him, putting a bracket on him, because if you leave him open, he's going to burn you out there. I'm interested to see what the offense is going to look like once teams take away JSN and force Darnold to go to Cooper Kupp, maybe, like he did have the one play. Cooper Kupp threw that terrible interception as well. Just a really weird offensive game. And the run game, very inconsistent. They have some moments, but it's just not as effective as we've seen in years past. Now, the defense for Seattle was excellent last night. The Houston had no chance whatsoever to score against them. So I do like the Seahawks defense. This is a Super Bowl caliber defense, I think, especially when they're healthy. Mike's done a good job, but you just kind of feel it with Darnold in the offense. He's been playing great. He's been looking good, but then he has those moments. Now, Seattle getting a win. Very tough division, though, in the NFC West. Seahawks here at number 8. All right, Bills on a bye, but sometimes you just slide on a bye over here. Bills at 7. There's a lot of question marks with this offense if they can't run the football with James Cook. I know how great Josh Allen is, but they just can't really do anything in the passing game, especially without Dalton Kincaid. The wide receivers, nobody's really emerged here as an elite number 1 guy. We love Khalil Shakir, but he is a number 2, a very clear number 2, and Keon Coleman just really hasn't taken that step as the wide receiver they thought he could be when they drafted him a couple of years ago. So it's a clunky offense. This team just needs a true number 1 wide receiver. Offensive line's been solid. The defense is bad. They can't stop the run. They really can't stop the pass much either. They got to figure some things out. Joey Bosa has actually been pretty solid for them, especially getting after the quarterback. But again, limited snaps. When's he going to get hurt? Weird Bills team whatsoever. They're at Carolina this week. Just beat up Carolina. Please, Buffalo. Please show me something here. Bills at 7. All right, Rams unfortunately fall a spot at 6, even though they look dominant. Just sometimes it goes that way. Rams looked awesome against Jacksonville, even without Puka Nacua. Now, the running game really has been kind of weird this year. This is a team that leans on the run, and we've seen some real inconsistency from them. We're making Stafford sling the ball 1,800 times a game, and it's working for now. Look, he just stares down his number 1. Puka's out. Devontae's the number 1. My man's getting 3 touchdowns. No problem over here. I did like to see that they got the young tight ends involved. I just want to see a little bit more diversity from this offense, get some more consistent running game going, be able to spread the ball out a little bit more. I know that's not how the McVay system works. And Stafford is, you worry. He throws it a lot. He's not getting hit a whole lot, but any hits on Stafford will have you concerned. The defense is awesome. They have a great young defense out there. Really nice business trip into London, going on a bye. I'm really interested. This Rams team is very scary, especially if they can stay healthy and improve that run game. Rams still here, though, at number 6. Okay, I'm going to drop Tampa Bay to number 5 here. Look, I had the Lions winning that game. I wasn't really surprised by that. And honestly, they could have easily gotten blown out by a lot more. Their defense did a pretty nice job keeping them in it. As much as they struggled out there, they were making big plays. They were forcing turnovers. So I was very optimistic to see that. Baker was just kind of off. He really wasn't even under too much duress. He was just missing throws, man. Guys were open. Now, could that be a product of younger, weirder, kind of different receivers out there? Emeka Egbuka played. They pretty much took him out. The physical man coverage on these not so good receivers really showed out. They had some weird bounces there. Unfortunately, they do lose Mike Evans for what looks like the season with a broken collarbone. So that is a big dock on Tampa Bay. This team is super banged up, super hurt. They need to get Bucky Irving back out there. Rachaad White is fine. He's just not as explosive as Bucky. The run game woes are kind of showing. If they can run the football more effectively, this is where you want this offense to be. Big blow, need to get Godwin back. Cade Otton, get him more involved, I guess. That was not an interception. That was a catch, by the way. But I was positive with what I saw overall from Tampa. But we do see the limitations right now, especially with the injuries. Buccaneers at number 5. All right, keeping the Eagles at 4. The sky isn't completely falling in Philadelphia. Good performance overall from Philly. The defense gets a pick 6. another interception by Carson Wentz, and they were great in the red zone. Minnesota was one of the best red zone teams in football going into the game, and they couldn't do anything. Now, a lot of that was of Minnesota's own fault. A couple of questionable penalties there, but the offense, I still don't understand what's going on with the Philly run game. They can't run the football. They really can't. They can't run the football at all. They did finally throw it up there, get the ball to A.J. Brown, get the ball to Devontae Smith, and good things will happen. Jalen Hurts did a good job staying in the pocket, not taking sacks, extending plays, especially on third down. This is just a weird Eagles team again. The sky's not completely falling, but that game was there for the taking for Minnesota. So I would still be interested to see what's going on with Philly. Like, them not being able to run the ball at all is insanely concerning. Do we also have a new stop for the tush push? They got a false start. They probably got stopped. The refs gave them a really generous spot on the other tush push. So interesting dynamics going on in Philadelphia. I don't get it. I do not get the Saquon run thing. Get under center more, run the football. The offensive line a little bit weird, but they do have the Giants coming to town, and they're going to want a little bit of revenge after a few weeks ago. So Eagles here at number 4. Colts at 3. Colts are good, man. I don't know what it is. The Colts are just good. This is one of the best offenses in football. Jonathan Taylor, your offensive player of the year. He has been phenomenal. 11 touchdowns on the season. Nobody else has even, I think 7 is the next closest. He's been great. Daniel Jones has been really good as well, distributing the football, getting to his wide receivers, not turning the football over. That's the key. This team doesn't turn the ball over, and they don't even really punt. They just put points on the board out there. Tyler Warren, good job, Chicago. You really were smart. You outthought everybody taking Colston Loveland. Tyler Warren, clearly the best tight end in the draft, and he's awesome. Tyler Warren is a beast out there, football player. We're getting Alec Pierce involved at wide receiver. We got Michael Pittman Jr. still. The defense is the real concern here. Their secondary is bad. You're going to be able to throw the football all over this Colts team, especially when it comes to the playoffs. It's just going to be a sieve back there. And can this offense keep pace with those elite quarterbacks? Now, the AFC, not quite as strong as what it's used to be. So that is a positive for them. And they're probably a clear cakewalk for the 1 seed in the AFC. They have such a big lead. Their division is terrible. This is going to be a team hosting a playoff game and probably have a bye. So Indy is dangerous, but could they be a one and done 1 seed? That remains to be seen. I would love for them to go trade for a pass rusher, maybe Trey Hendrickson. I don't know. Let's find a guy out there, improve the pass rush. That'll help cover up the back end. Colts here at number 3, one of the craziest teams of the NFL this season. All right, keeping the Lions here at 2. Cry all you want. I kept them at 2 after they lost. I'm going to keep them at 2 after they win. Expected them to win against Tampa Bay, but they left so many points on the table. They could have easily won this game 40-7, 40-9, whatever the hell the final was. They should have been dominating on offense, but bad on 4th downs in this game. Missed a big field goal out there. Just way too much inconsistency for them. And this Detroit Lions defense with an injured back end, they have a brilliant scheme. The scheme is we're going to commit a penalty on every play. You're not going to call it. They're going to grab, they're going to punch, they're going to hold, and the refs just aren't going to call it every play. It's a great scheme for a secondary that's not very good. It's not very talented. It's not very good, especially as constructed. So kudos to them. The offense, man, you just want to see them finish drives more, get more consistency. They kind of get too cute again for their own good. The running game was really nice. Jahmyr Gibbs busting some big runs. Boy, can he move the football. He's been awesome. Montgomery feels like he doesn't really give us anything anymore in that 1-2 backfield, so that is hurting them. Amon-Ra was kind of taken away after the first few drives of this game, kind of forced him, put some hands on Amon-Ra, and Goff just is not comfortable in the pocket when there's people around him. He needs it to be super clean, operate like the robot, like I said. So good job on the Todd Bowles defense. Little concerning for Detroit if that's going to be a game plan defensively where you can kind of slow them down, awkward things up. And if you have good, better receivers out there, you will eventually be able to get open. And maybe the refs just got to start calling every holding because good God. But Detroit here at number 2, clearly I think probably the most well-rounded team in the NFC and my favorite to win the 1 seed in the NFC. All right, I'm doing it. Screw it. It's time. They're back. The Chiefs are number 1. The Chiefs are great. I saw it. Seen enough, man. This offense is back to being that explosive offense. Once again, you get Rashee Rice back into the fold and 2 touchdowns for him. But you can just see it, man. There's so many more 20+ yard pass plays downfield. Guys are running wide open once again. The protection has been better. The Josh Simmons whereabouts unknown. Who knows what's going on with that? But there's still no run game for Kansas City. I do like that they brought in Brashard Smith, a little more screen passes, designs for him. They need a real running back. Kareem Hunt did get banged up. Isaiah Pacheco, it's just not the Isaiah Pacheco we need. This is definitely the team that's trying to trade for Kareem Hunt or somebody out there, but this wide receiver core is really dynamic with Xavier Worthy, with Rashee Rice, throwing a little bit of Hollywood Brown for fun out there, and Fat Man Kelsey can find a spot in the zone when there's not so much attention to him. So I really like this Chiefs offense. It's back to being it, and Mahomes is probably the MVP favorite now after Baker's performance last night. He has been excellent this year. So vintage Mahomes. The downfall of Mahomes was greatly oversold by people. He's been great, and the defense has been good. They were really good against a bad Raiders team, but this is the unit that always figures it out. They start a little bit slower, then they finish. They always get things going. So Chiefs, again, in a weird NFL season, they definitely are better than last year, even though last year's team won 15 games. This is a much better football team than last year. The bounces start going their way again, and this is a scary, scary monster. Chiefs staying here. Back to number 1, the evil empire remains, but that's going to do it for us today. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? I love going back and forth with you guys in the comments. If you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, sign up for a channel membership. Help support me, allows me to keep making this great content for you guys every single day. You get all sorts of access to cool and exclusive perks. It's a great time. If you want to go check out a team live, head on over to SeatGeek.com. Use code AfterTheReview for $20 off your first purchase. That's SeatGeek.com. Code AfterTheReview for $20 off your first purchase. Check out the links down below. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.